Yeah, thanks very much, Jeff. So we've just gone from the men's 20s. Now we're into the women's 20s quarterfinal, as you mentioned. The ACT taking on the Storm. Storm in the yellow tags in that black and green stripe, and the ACT in their predominantly navy blue and yellow ribbon stripe, but with the pink tags. So Cougars defending, it looks like, from the kickoff. We're just waiting. We're inside the 2 minutes to kick-off time interval now, and the Storm are on screen, and looks like they're a little bit cold out there because they haven't had a chance to warm up there. Kieran Duncan, thanks for sticking around to call this one as well. I'm sure they won't be cold for long though.
Yeah, well, they had to sit and watch that extra time, so the girls will be quite cold. They want to get this game going, I think.
Well, I saw a sensational level of skill in these trying conditions just in that men's 20s final. They went into extra time and try after try and right of reply. Eventually the win going to the Wolves. So the women now with a chance on centre stage to show what they're made of in these difficult conditions.
Yeah, look, that previous game, I thought it'd be riddled with errors, but it was an exciting game, and there wasn't a great deal of errors. So we'll see what the girls come up with here.
So we're underway with the ACT getting first use of the football, and taking it up there in her bucket hat for the ACT was Quinley. It might be a good way to keep the rain out of her eyes as well with that hat in these conditions. Usually you see them trying to keep the sun off your head, but perhaps it's got a weather advantage in the rain as well. So here's Quinley again with the ball. Look to distribute, but takes the tag about 15 short of the halfway line centre field. It is deep inside the tag count now as they bring it up to the last, about 12 metres shy of the halfway line, 5 in from the eastern touch. So here's Quinley. She's had 3 touches already and chases that kick solidly and stomps the Storm on their halfway line to turn that over that first set. So a fairly routine set there for the ACT, just going through their motions.
Yeah, look, as we just saw in that previous game, it's tough kicking. So there's some dry corridors in the field, but it's tough in the wet, and it even makes it a little bit tougher for the females because they obviously can't kick that ball as far. So it'll be interesting to see what the girls do.
So Wanaki there on the last, about 8 metres inside of AC territory, and the ball now still just playing that middle corridor, and then there's a great chase from the defensive line there, putting heaps of pressure on to stop the Storm in their tracks. They didn't find a kick, and now the ACT take the ball inside of their opponent's territory for the first time in the opening 90 seconds of this one. It is the women's 20s quarter-final with ACT now, ball in hand against the Storm. It'll swivel at the hips there, and Reed, who took that tag. So they've just got a tag here. The referee saying back to the mark. The Storm thought they were away with it, and Hope thought, look, this is a good opportunity for me to set sail downfield. Unfortunately, though, the referee had blown the whistle. So they still retain possession here, the ACT. Patterson now on to Highland for the last. Come across to the left-hand side. Hall. She jinks and then kicks ahead. Chases solidly for the kick. Got the ball first and then knocked it forward in the process. So nice little question being asked there by Highland. Just didn't get the result she was looking for.
Yeah, not a bad effort there. She picks that up. She scores.
So now the Storm with a bit of work to do, coming off their own line. Sheriff plays the ball back. They come across to the right-hand side. Players streaming up on the inside, but they couldn't find a pass, and then Doblo takes the tag. And they didn't get far on that second play.
She's called tag first before she dropped that ball.
So they managed to retain possession, which was a lucky let-off there. They come across to the left-hand side now. Doblo. Shapes goes herself. Doblo into open space. They won't catch her. She pins the ears back and the referee's blown the whistle.
Tag's fallen off.
Oh, no. That is a really unfortunate result to that because she earned the right to go into that space and then the tag came off. So the ball's still with the Storm, though, as they spread it across field. They've got an overlap here. Fullback to commit, shows and goes back on the inside. Here's a try to coming to Namalo and the ball down. And they've got the first try there, the Storm.
Yeah, she just little show and go there, little dummy, and straight through. I actually thought the ref was calling that back for a forward pass, and I think the girls paused. Let's have a look at the replay.
So Namao there, she drew the fullback beautifully and then went back on the inside. So textbook stuff there to get the fullback in 2 minds and then went over and scored the opening try for the Storm. That kick's gone dead. So they'll get the ball back here, Kieran.
That's a great kick-off, isn't it? In wet conditions. It's obviously hard to pick that ball up. It's a little bit slippery. And I think the tags will be quite heavy too because of the tags from the previous game.
So that nice drop out. Nearly found the halfway line from the ACT.
Ooh.
And some good pressure here to try and force an error. But so far, the Storm holding on to the ball nicely, having scored the opening try. Christie there takes the tag for the Storm. They come across the left-hand side through Campbell. She just takes a settler. So they're moving closer to striking distance now. Campbell look for an offload. And Christie plays the ball back. Here's the try scorer on screen. And she'll take the tag. Namo plays it back there to Wood at acting half. Kick across for the corner here. The ball just stops there. A bit of work for the ACT to clean it up in difficult conditions, but Shriver there was very calm and collected, took the ball cleanly, and Highland then takes the first settler, but she was quickly stopped in her tracks. The ball hits the decks. I thought it might have gone backwards. Referee says it's a knock-on, and that's a costly error there, Kieran.
Commentator's curse. I was just about to say there hasn't been an error yet.
So it was a mental telepathy commentator's curse. You haven't even uttered the words yet. Here is the Storm now, looking to go back-to-back. But no room there through Campbell to be stopped about 5 out from the ACT line. So Campbell in acting half. Way to Christie. 5 metres out from the ACT line. The Cougars need to defend solidly here. A 2-0 deficit in these conditions will be a very tough assignment to claw back. So the Storm now sit there, attack to the right-hand side. But it is the last, so they've run out of options here. Can they come up with something? And the ACT Cougars were quickly there to shut it down and earn the football back with Fitzpatrick taking a nice run out of trouble there.
Yeah, they did well, the Cougars, to hang on.
So the ACT now go down the short side. The tag might have come off early, so the referee sent back to the mark they go. But the Cougars now just advancing the football closer to the halfway line. Something threatening to open up onto their left-hand side, but quickly shut down by the Storm's try scorer. They come across to the right-hand side. Opportunity here now. They've got the numbers to get the ball across the winger. Into open space they go, and it's a good run down the sideline for Kilby. She'll be tagged about 8 metres out from the Storm line. Pressure now building on the Storm line as the ACT find their rhythm and go into attacking phase.
They've got numbers left.
Treventham there plays the ball back on the last. Little scoot out, dummy half going for the line is Crow. And she'll be stopped just short of it, but that was a good raid there by the ACT.
It was, and it was a great tag by the 9 from the Storm. Campbell was a great tag on the try line.
So now the Cougars with a bit of work to do. Taking the hit up there for the Storm was Campbell.
3, good tag, on the way, girls.
Wood will play it back for the Storm as they just regain their composure coming off their line, but the Cougars' defence is quick and up in their face and not allowing them to make any passage downfield. So the Storm says, let's change the equation here and put a kick downfield, and it's been knocked back, but eventually picked up there in difficult conditions there by Ruold, and the Storm did well to get out of trouble there, and if they can force an error here, it could be a good master stroke to kick early. But right now it's the Cougars with ball. Crow short of the line. As they come back across to the short right side, there's a huge puddle in the background there in the what would be the cricket pitch area here of C Stadium's main arena. And the tag was made, so a bit of a slowdown to play here. Playing it back is Highland, Ellie Highland in the 8, Maddie Highland in the 9.
So she was trying to put a tag on there when she was at dummy half, but you can pass with one tag from dummy half, so she should have just left the tag off and just played the ball there.
So the Storm 1-0 in this Women's 20 quarter-final over the ACT Cougars. We've got just under 12 minutes to go in the first half, and Storm will restart playing it right on the centre patch of CX Stadium. So Llewellyn there. Sheriff will play it back. Across to the left they go. Wrap around there, finds Doblo. She has looked dangerous on a few occasions already in this first half. Got some good agility in her game as they now move across to the right-hand side and find a bit of open pasture. And Sheriff there tagged about 8 metres inside of ACT territory across the left-hand side. That's a double entendre there, the ACT territory, Australian Capital Territory. The ball now stopped on the halfway line by the ACT Cougars defence. Going for a run there is Doblo. And here comes the kick from the Storm. No, they shaped a kick and then eventually find one. This one is going to trickle down towards the Cougars try line, and a good result on the end of the kick there, Kieran.
Great result for the Storm. They want to hold them in there now and try and force a mistake if possible.
So O'Donnell takes the play and they keep running forward here, the Cougars. Good pace about him at the moment. Schreibner there will take the tag. Dummy half evades the first and then sets sail. Makes a good passage down through there with Fitzpatrick in the ball in hand. She'll play it back there to Robertson. The kick coming there from Quigley. She's going to chase hard, but the kick went straight down the barrel and picked up there nicely there by Newton, who returns serve with plenty of interest for the Storm as they now go back into attacking mode. Doblo there beat one, and then she's in open space, and Doblo will get another and take the Storm to a 2-0 advantage.
She has looked dangerous, hasn't she, Doblo? She's lively.
You can see just the way she's built. She's got plenty of agility, plenty of speed. Has the step when she needs it, and then the explosive acceleration. Angling across field, the hip swivel, and then, well, she didn't even need too much explosive acceleration on that occasion because it opened up for her and she just strolled through.
Little hip movement, and in she went.
So 2-0 the Storm now. Scoreboard pressure will start to be looming for the Cougars. Plenty of time, but they need to find a try next. Kilby.
They have been down this end a lot, haven't they, the Cougars? They've had to bring the ball out from their own line for a fair patch of this game.
So they come back through the middle. Playing it back there is Reed. Got numbers across the left-hand side, and Trey Vanathan plays the ball. To Crow now. Can't find a way through. It is the last. About 5 short of the halfway. 5 in from the western touch. The kick is good. Away off the boot of Reed and picked up at the back there by Lee for the Storm. Just 8 metres short of the halfway line. Blindside play there was not very advantageous, so they come back through the middle.
The girls need to just find that dry corridor when they're kicking there. If it hits a puddle, it just holds up and stops.
Campbell plays it back. That kick there might have been a little high. It's angling towards the touchline, and the referee is going to call it back for over the shoulder height. A penalty here to the ACT, and they will be very relieved about that. So this restart will take place about 3 metres inside of Storm territory, just to the left of centre field. Trevor then distributes away to Robertson now. Trevor then again at dummy half. Now Schreibner got a pass free, finds Highland, and that was Maddie on that occasion. They come across to the right. Ellie Highland distributes. And they still have the ball on the third here, the ACT, as they draw closer to the Storm line. Maddie Highland got a pass free, finds Crow. They keep it alive here. The ball out there to O'Donnell, and O'Donnell dives over, but she's only got one tag, so she'll be told to go back and play to the mark. Kilby at dummy half. Now to Crow. Got the pass free. They go down the short corridor again, but a lot of bodies in the way. No room through. So they open it up across to the left-hand side now. Passes picked off from the air there by Campbell, and she did well in more ways than one, because it looks like she's playing with eyewear in the rain. She'll need windscreen wipers.
It'd be tough to see. Oh, there's a mistake there. The two, I really like the two for the ACT Cougars. Jessica Crow. She's very crafty. Good skill.
So now the ACT back on the attack here. They've got themselves in a real important position here. They need to score now, and they're right within the range. Here's the ball back on the inside for Reed, and just couldn't get through. So Trevathan thought she got past the marker, but she was quickly picked off. So this time they go across to the right-hand side. Ball back on the inside. Finds Crow, and this is the last. So the Storm defence still impenetrable at the moment. ACT now. That ball allowed to hit the deck, and then they'll be quickly picked off by the Storm defence. So just didn't find the level of execution needed to score on that occasion.
No, they didn't. But the Storm defended really well, and they've just made about 5 subs, so they've got some fresh legs on there now.
Wholesale changes for the black and green Storm, who now work it out from their own line with that 2-try advantage. Just under 6 minutes to go in this first half. That kick is floated way too high off the boot, and it will gift the ACT with good field position once more.
Yeah, the Storm will be tested again here, and the ACT and they have another go at them.
So it looks like the rain might be easing just a little, still coming down consistently, but with any luck we might have seen the worst of it. ACT now, important for them to score next. They come across, and that kick pass out of dummy half was deflected and then regathered, so they've really bombed that opportunity. And full credit there to Waniki there at marker, who was able to pluck that out of the dummy half's pass and win the ball back for the Storm. They now go back on the attack out of their own red zone. There's Waniki again, who did well to get the ball back, and Sheriff. So Waniki plays the ball, and it goes backwards. Knocked back by Hamilton. Doblo cleaned it up. They're just a little bit disjointed at the moment here, the Storm. They've burned out the tackle count to the last, and they haven't crossed the centre stripe. So this kick is a better one. It's angling towards the sideline. It will stop short of it, though. And picked up at the back there by Rulin for the ACT Cougars.
They've gone a bit early, the Storm, then.
Yeah, it could have been an offside penalty, but the referee didn't quite ping them for it, so it's unfortunate for ACT. Quigley there takes the tap and played the ball rather, and now Hall races away, but she's tagged, so she'll have to stroll back some distance to the mark and now plays it. So Ellie Highland shaped a pass, and they've gone nowhere really on this set as well.
No, and a tough kick here in the water.
Oh, Quigley's had a misfire, and still play on those, the call, so they might get something out of a disorganised play, but eventually it all broke down on the halfway line.
She's called it back. I thought that was a knock on. I think she dropped the ball and she missed it, but yeah, it's the changeover anyway.
So the Storm now through Doblo, who looked to slice her way through. Could have been almost a decisive try if she would have taken the Storm through a 3-0 advantage. Sharif now will go back and play it 9 metres inside of ACT territory.
Yeah, the Cougars definitely will not want any points against them here.
So that's Zara Doblo in the 17, and we've got Eva Doblo in the 7. Just to make things more challenging for us in the commentary box, as the Storm now on the 4th. Kick early. Nicely weighted kick there. And Eva Doblo wins the race to the football, but it is the last. Late tag, so play on to the call. They've got a deep back line set across to the left. Can they draw in the defence? And there's a try opening up. Oh, she would have found the turf. It could have been a try there. But Newton just didn't quite have the GPS on it. I don't think she knew exactly where she was.
No, she was over the line then.
So ACT will breathe a huge sigh of relief about that. And the Cougars now with a bit of work to do, though, as they find themselves deep inside their own territory.
As we've seen in previous games, it's very tough work, isn't it, bringing the ball out from 10, 20 metres out, especially trying to get that good kick away in these conditions.
So Hall on the 4th, only 12 metres out from their own line. They have been really pinned down here at the moment. A missed tag is what they need, and this is what they've got. Crow sailing over the halfway line. She pins her ears back. She's got 3 players in hot pursuit, and they will stop her about 12 metres out on the last. So the ACT now, can they produce something? Highland, away goes to Hall. Grubber kicks through, wins the race to the football. Hall and nearly got there, but immaculate try saving a tag there for the Storm. Shuts them down only 5 metres out from the line.
Great play from Lani Hall there. Little eyes up grubber, and she regathered it, but nice tag from the Storm.
Well, that was an absolute try saver, and full credit to the Cougars. There was some very enterprising play. It's probably deserved a try, the effort, but full credit to that strong defence by the Storm, who now work it out from their own red zone. Go for an early clearing kick there, and trapped there with the feet by O'Donnell, who picks it up and then returns it with plenty of interest as well. She crosses the halfway, and she'll be tagged about 50 centimetres inside of Storm territory 5 in from the eastern touchline. Away Fitzpatrick. She distributes, finds Crow. And Crow there still going. She's found some good valuable metres in this last couple of minutes. Now Fitzpatrick. Full of running now, the Cougars, and they need to be.
I want some points here, the Cougars.
Trevenathan distributes from dummy half, goes for the wraparound, draws in a player, and there's been an infringement against the... No, it's just a tag. So back to the mark they go, the ACT, with a couple more up their sleeve. And Schreiber there running up to try and create some confusion in the defence, but the Storm shut it down, and this is the last. Grubber kick there through. Might be too big. Winning the race to the football there was Trevenathan, but it wasn't quite accurate enough.
There wasn't much in that, was there?
Just under 30 seconds to go in this first half. The women's 20s quarter final. Storm with a 2-0 advantage. ACT asking plenty of questions in this final couple of minutes, but nothing to show for it as far as points on the board is concerned. So Eva Doblo takes it up. And the ball lost forward there, but still alive for the Storm. Going to go back to the mark. Siren will sound any moment now. So the Storm in no rush to go any further in this first 20 minutes of play. The siren sounds in the background, and we have a 2-0 advantage to the Storm over the ACT in the women's 20s quarter final. Michael Golikov in commentary with you, and joining me is Kieran Duncan again for his expert analysis, and some good high fives being shown at the ACT side at the moment. They might be trailing by 2-0, but nonetheless, they're still full of plenty of enthusiasm. Here's the opening try, though. It went to the way of the Storm.
Beautiful show and go, wasn't it?
And then Doblo, she's been one of the shining lights for the Storm so far. And you can see now the ACT Cougars on screen, just receiving their halftime instructions from the coaching staff.
Yeah, very well coached, ACT Cougars, Cam Hardy.
I had them against Warriors and it was like 13-0.
Now, there's plenty of enthusiasm about the way the ACT players have been going. They might be trailing 2-0, but you can see they're playing positively. They're remaining confident. They've got an assignment in front of them, and there's the Storm on screen now. It's certainly within their reach at the moment. They'd have to go a fair way wrong if they were to surrender this lead in these type of conditions.
Yeah, look, as I just mentioned, very well coached side ACT by Cam Hardy, but this Storm side, their game plan is spot on. I mean, they've kicked, they've kept the ACT Cougars coming off their line and just built a lot of pressure, and that's why they go into the second half leading 2-0.
Yeah, you guys chose to kick off in the first
So
half.
Storm just moved away from their huddle, and the ACT now about to go through their chant. They are taking every second that they possibly can to receive their halftime instructions. They will now move towards the northern end of CX Stadium, and it is the back end of the grandstand, the place to be if you're here at the venue, because the rain continues. But if you're tuned in on the Facebook live stream, you're no doubt feeling very comfortable, particularly if you're a Storm fan. So we welcome you wherever you may be watching from across Australia or indeed the world, as the Storm now get first use of the football in the second half. Wood plays it back. Now Lee. They come across to the right-hand side. Campbell, she'll play it back. To the right they go. Just one out stop at the moment. Campbell races in at dummy half. They come for an early kick. It's been deflected there straight into Fitzpatrick's legs. So the thought process was good, get an early kick away, but the result was probably the worst they could have hoped for, the Storm.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the message from the coach. Get a kick away, try and get the ball down the other end and hold the ACT in there. But yeah, change over there.
So Hall will play it back to Quigley, who is in the bucket hat. She's one to watch. She's had some good touches. Reed now goes back to the mark. Now Hall threatens to go through. This is the last. So will the ACT play for points here or they play field position.
Oh.
Quigley with a kick through, wins the race and the ball dives over, but the tag's been made. Well, I mentioned only moments ago that she's one of the ones to watch for the Cougars and showing us there why that is the case.
That was a nice tag, wasn't it, to stop that try.
Christie plays the ball back for the Storm. They've got a few players coming on for interchange now of the Storm, so they were a little bit disjointed, but it is one of those necessary evils, if you can call it that. You've got to run fresh legs on. It might mean for the first 1 or 2 tags of the new set, things are a little bit disorganised. Here's an early clearing kick for the Storm. They chased hard on that kick there, but it found the sideline. So the ball comes back to the ACT. 18 minutes to go in this match. Into the second half we are now, as the Cougars search desperately for a try. Ruland there takes the tag 9 metres inside of Storm territory. To the left they go, Reed. This is the second, so a few more up their sleeve here with Hall. Goes herself, Hall, then finds a pass, but the tag was made. So playing it back there is Hall. They go the short side. Doesn't seem to be a lot of opportunity there. But Maddie Hyland steals a few valuable metres nonetheless. To the left they go. Hall flings the ball out there to Trevanathan. Then the ball back on the inside. This will be the last though. So Hall at dummy half. She invites him to come forward, then passes forward there. But that was very heavy traffic to go through. And in the end, Crow couldn't find a way to the line. But they do have the Storm trapped deep down inside their own territory for Lee to take the first hit up on the new set.
Good field possession there for the ACT Cougars. They'll be happy with that.
They'd love to force an error here too. Good line speed as well, so that's what they need to try and get up in the face of the Storm, get them a bit of defensive pressure. And the Storm feel that defensive pressure and a lick to kick early, but there was a well-telegraphed kick and a well-telegraphed chase, and here will be a penalty, and deservingly so. You've got to give Eva Doblo full credit for her enthusiasm. It was on. There was certainly a call for that kick, but she just ran over the opposition in the end, which is a penalty every day of the week.
It's definitely the game plan from the Storm. Kick early, but yeah, a bit over-enthusiastic there.
So the Cougars now just crossed that halfway line. Still plenty of time on the board for them to close the margin.
Oh.
Trevanathan thought she had something opening up there, but again, that Storm defence has just been rock solid. So Sutherland there will go back to the mark and play it in her maroon bucket hat. Highland, that's Maddie. And this is the last. So they didn't get as close as they would have liked to on this occasion, the Cougars. Now with Crow, she kicks ahead, but the tag was already made. So that kick that the Storm put through just before was a good one in terms of getting some of that field position back. This time they find themselves coming off their own 20 instead of their own try line. So will they look to kick early again?
I think they will. Tag 4. They'll probably get a kick in.
Out the right-hand side they go. Playing it back there is right. They come across to the left. We've got them backpedaling at the moment on that set.
Here goes.
So Eva Doblo will play the ball on the 4th. They kick early. Oh, and that just hit that middle puddle and just stopped like a lead weight right in the middle there.
It's much tougher coming out of this end, isn't it? With the water lane on the surface.
So Maddie Hyland takes the first run of the new set and actually beats a attempted tag, but then it was made eventually. So a little bit of a stoppage as they find the mark and go back and play it. So the Cougars playing a bit of hot potato stuff at the moment, but not really asking too many questions. So straightening the attack and running fast and forward is Crow.
She's quite lively, isn't she, Crow?
Yeah, she's one to watch. Maddie Hyland now on the last. Still 15 metres out from the Storm line. Ball back on the inside. Crow elects to pass. They keep it alive. Something brewing on the outside, but again, that Storm defence has just been so successful It's stopping the ACT in their tracks. So they go back on the return of serve here and find a bit of open pass here through Newton. A nice run there, and they did well to get back and stop her because it could have been alarm bells ringing. Now Doblo shows it one way, then threatens to give an intercept away, but Nomo, the opening try scorer, found the football and retained possession for the Storm, who have it about 30 metres out from the Cougars line. Doblo kicks for herself. No one there back for it. They thought the Cougars might have claimed a tag. Referee said it was late and play on. So now they're right back in attacking range. They haven't been down the centre of the field for some minutes now. This is the last though for the Storm as they spread across to the right-hand side. They did have a player deep and unmarked, but they couldn't find the pass. And it will be changed over for the Cougars to get the ball from deep within their own territory. Away it goes now to Quingley. They kept it alive here. And Shriven will play it back. Time starting to be the enemy of the Cougars. Can they find a long-range try? Fitzpatrick there, tagged 20 metres out from her own line. 10 in from the eastern touch. Rain still coming down, but is easing. And I have word that some of the outer fields are very much underwater, which is no surprise. But it is play on in this match, and play on as far as the tournament is concerned, especially on this main arena here at CX Stadium. We sing its praises quite often because it's got great facilities for fans and officials, but also we have got a great field with great drainage on the field as well. So there's a penalty for the Storm, and this is a good opportunity for them.
As I mentioned a bit earlier, Michael, it's tough coming out of those puddles down this end. You're much better off down this end of the field where the Storm are heading into now.
So way to the right-hand side they go. They're about 20 metres out at the moment, the Storm. Another try almost seals the deal for them. Christie couldn't find a way through. They're about 20 metres out from the Cougars line now. Important for the ACT to put up a solid wall, and it is the last, so can they hold them out for one more? And they do. But again, Kieran, it is time now that's starting to be the biggest threat to the Cougars.
Yeah, and they're definitely going to want some points here, the Cougars.
All right, so Cougars now come across to the short side, but they were quickly picked off. It is the third already, and that scoreboard pressure is really starting to weigh on the Cougars. They need to find something, but it's also very difficult to hold on to the football in these conditions, and it is the last. Only 5 metres away from the halfway line. There's a kick through by Quingley, and nicely picked up at the back there. Fully composed and took it in cleanly there was Wood.
Oh, little error there. That's what they were hoping for, the Cougars.
So quick play the ball. They go down the short side. Kilby there was quickly picked off though. But this is where they need to be, the ACT Cougars. Hall was stopped there. Just need to ask a few more questions there. Trevanathan was trying to affix her tag and only had one hand free to take the ball. That's how it all broke down. Then Fitzpatrick manages to clean up a messy situation. And now the Cougars have it about 20 metres out from their own line. From the opposition line, I beg your pardon. And this is the last. So Crow, they come across to the right-hand side. Little dish off there, but it was stopped again. And we're about 9.5 minutes to go in this second half. The Storm in a commanding position there. But they have a bit of work to do again, Kieran, coming out of their own territory.
They do, yes. The Storm are going to want a good kick here.
So it is the third for the Storm. They don't need to do anything too fancy with a 2-0 advantage, though. Wood took the tag, and this time here comes the kick from Eva Doblo. And the ball deep down inside of ACT territory.
She's a clever player, Eva Doblo.
Yeah, look, she's certainly one of a handful of really impressive players we've seen so far in this Storm lineup, as the ACT now find some good room to move and delaying the pass and keeping the defensive guessing. They keep it alive there. Referee says the tag was made. So Fitzpatrick was, she's going off for a sub, but she's the one that's been ruled to be tagged. So she needs to go back and play the ball before she can earn a rest on the sideline. And she did earn a rest with that run. So they get things back moving now, the Cougars. But it is the fourth. So Maddie Highland there, tagged about 9 short of the halfway line. Into that big puddle in the middle. They keep it alive here, and that pass just couldn't be handled cleanly. And Maddie Highland, she's been one of the better Cougars, but she couldn't take that pass cleanly, so that one is turned over. And the Storm now just need to go about things in disciplined fashion, and they can almost set themselves up for a victory. But a player that doesn't want to follow the textbook is Eva Doblo. She has thought she'll ask some questions, and it was a nice little run for herself, a little kick and chase. In the end, they turned it over.
Yeah, you're right. They actually don't need to do too much to Storm. They just need to hold on to the lead, don't they? But yeah, she wanted a little play for herself, Doblo.
So now Crow takes the tag for the ACT, about 5 short of halfway. Ball popped out, but it was after the tag was made. So playing up back there is Reed. They do the wraparound for Maddie Highland. He's the last. So those 2 tries for the Storm in the first half are very important tries because they've been hard to come by in the second half.
She's called played at 6 to go there.
So this is a good sign for ACT. Can they pull out a try and set up a grandstand finish?
They've got a repeat set, so they'll be very happy with that, the Cougars.
So they come across to the left and change the direction back to the right. Now they've got an opening up here as well of the Cougars, show on the inside. But it was quickly shut down there by the Storm defence. So time running out for the ACT Cougars to steal something here. Nice little run there by Quigley. She gets the ball. I think she might have been tagged short of the line. And they, in fact, go back quite some distance.
Tagged before she kicked it there.
So still one for the Cougars here. If they can find a try.
Tag that last
Schreibner there will be stopped. There's the last for the Cougars, though. They come across to the left. Hall shows it one way, goes herself. The ball hit a big puddle, and then the tag was made, so they'll turn it over. And again, the Storm are able to repel the ACT Cougars defence.
Tag one.
Very good defensive side, the Storm.
So they've got the ball back here. And Quigley there, got a pass away.
On the line.
Finds Trevathan. Come across to the right-hand side. Just can't get through.
She held that up. She wanted a runner there.
3.
It is the third now for the ACT. Way to the left they go. It is the fourth. So not much on there for Hall. Trying to get a pass free. Olivia Reed there tagged. No, they've got a 6 more here, so this is just what they need. Way to Quigley now. Jinx at the line, but she was quickly picked off there by Doblo. So to the left they go now. ACT with an opportunity out wide, going over to score, but the tag was made. Again, that defence by the Storm, apart from the 2 tries, has been match-winning defence. Match-winning attack and defence. That's the best stats to have on your score sheet, of course.
Oh, great ball.
And we're now to the fourth. They've got an opportunity out to the corner, going for a dive over, but again, they just keep turning up to make those try-saving tags here, the Storm. This is the last here for ACT on the back-to-back set. Grab a kick through, wins a race to the ball. The tags were both taken, and they were stopped and denied once more.
Was she tagged before she picked that ball
I thought
up?
so.
Yeah.
But it's easy for us to judge from the commentary box.
She's done quite well, the ref. Good to know. I've seen her ref out the backfields a few times. She's good young female ref.
So now the ball with the Storm, who have all but wrapped up this match with only 3 3/4 minutes left to go. Doblo beats the first defence, then she sets sail. The tag fell off, and she'll have to go back and play it about 9 metres short of the halfway line. So they go for the early clearing kick. The ball sits up, and winning the race to the ball was your try scorer in Namalo, who got the opening try. So the Storm still the last, and the tag was made about 5 metres inside of ACT Cougars territory.
Well, they don't have to do anything flash the Storm, do they? They just don't want any points against them. They can just seal the game out now.
So they come across to the right. A little hip swivel there from Trevethan. She crosses the halfway line. Then a little bobble, and the ball's dropped forward. And unfortunately, Olivia Reid just couldn't handle that one cleanly and turns it over. So the Storm get the ball back on the halfway line. Time running out now. Storm looks set to advance with Christie now ball in hand on the halfway line. Campbell goes for a scoot. She found Nomo looming in support, but the defence quickly stopped her, so she has to go back to the mark and play it. Way to Christie. Couple of tags left on this set as they come across to the right-hand side. A little jink and a weave. It is the last, and they'll go back to the mark and play it about 15 short of the Cougars line. So Storm just happy to turn it over as far down the field as they possibly can and set up a difficult assignment for the Cougars.
Yeah, they don't have to do anything different in the Storm. With 2-0 lead, they'll be happy with that.
So ACT running on some fresh legs, and being shepherded towards the sideline there was Peterson.
Yeah, like I mentioned, they're very good defensive side, the Storm.
Their defence, especially at their line, has been just impenetrable, and that's why they've been managing to defend out a nil scoreline for their opponents. It is the last here coming for the Cougars. That kick there finds a bit of open pasture, but went straight down to a Storm defender, who then falls over in that wet, slippery conditions. Lisa Sheriff there fell awkwardly, but gets up, and I think she's okay. She'll go back and take a sub for her troubles, though, as Doblo now runs it, tries to find a little opening in that heavy traffic. It is the fourth now for the Storm, so tag count running out, and look at Doblo, she's just still asking questions.
Very lively, isn't she?
Plays it back about 10 metres inside of ACT territory. Tag's been made, so they'll hand it over on the last, but just happy to wind the clock down. That's all they need to do. And for the ACT Cougars, they've fought hard all the way, but they just haven't been able to find those all-important points. As the siren sounds in the background, the ball drops back, and unfortunately for the Cougars, their campaign for the weekend has just ended. Commiserations, but well done to the Storm. A 2-try win in these difficult conditions. The rain is easing, though, still coming down, but we certainly saw worse conditions about 45 minutes ago.
It's some very heavy, sore and tired legs for both sides there. Obviously quite hot conditions yesterday, and then we come in today with these wet conditions, so yeah, the girls will be feeling it now, I think.
Yeah, so as we see both teams congratulate each other, we might take a quick look at the action unfolding for the two Cougars tries, and it was Nomo there who drew in the fullback and then just changed directions in a textbook type try, and then they backed it up with a good one to Doblo.
Yeah, Doblo just showed a little bit of turn of speed there, a little bit of hip movement, and in she went. She's very lively.
Well, Eva Doblo was certainly a standout in that one. We saw her score the second try, and she was threatening at every opportunity. So I know Jeff Killicks had made his way down to the sideline, and I think he was searching out to speak with Eva, who has certainly one of the strike weapons for the Storm side. Won't be too far away for the next match. And we'll go down to the sideline now because standing by is Jeff Killick with Evo Doblo. Over to you, Jeff.
Well, here we are, side of field, and it's been a soggy start, Eva Doblo from Southern Storm. You got to try, set one up, but how was it out there?
Yeah, it was wet. It was a fast game. Girls played well. We did a lot of dive tags, very sloshy out there. But yeah, we tried our hearts out and we lucky enough to get the win, so stoked about that.
Yeah, and you said to me coming off, you're a bit gassed. Was it a bit harder than normal with the wet underfoot?
Oh, definitely. You feel a lot heavier running in the water, so yeah, it was a tough game, but glad to get the win.
Yeah, well, it's great to see you down here. Was there anyone you wanted to say hello to before we throw back up?
No.
You'll get in trouble off Nen and Pop later. Eva Doblo, thank you very much. Wish you all the best in the semi-final.
So much.